Am I the asshole for not wanting my boyfriend to factor in my son's survivor benefits into our new household budget? My 38 female, son 15 male, receives $1,100 a month in Social Security survivor benefits from his late father, who passed away when my son was 5. My boyfriend, 40 male, and I have been in an on-again, off-again relationship for a long time. Things have been good recently, and he's proposed. We're planning on getting a house together. I have my son, and he has 3 children, but only one of his kids would be living with us full-time. The house we're looking at is $2,500 a month. My boyfriend's proposed budget is for him to pay $950, for me to pay $950, and for us to use $600 from my son's check for the household. He suggests that we can then put the remaining $500 from the check into savings. My current practice is to give my son half of his check for his personal use and to save the other half for him. I think that since he's almost 17, he should have some control over his money. My boyfriend disagrees completely. He thinks that since we are going to be a family, all the money should be pulled together for shared expenses. He thinks I'm wrong and selfish for not wanting to include the survivor benefits in the main budget. We've been going back and forth on this, and I'm feeling incredibly uncomfortable with his expectation. I feel like the benefits are my son's and should not be used to reduce the adult's portion of the bills. I feel like he's trying to make me subsidize the household using money that was meant for my son's care and future, not to pay his own share of the bills. Am I wrong here? Is it selfish to keep my son's check separate and manage it for his benefit alone? Or is my boyfriend's financial expectation a red flag for our future together? In the comments, Cool Conversation says, "Big red flag. Very big and red." OP, your fiancé wants to steal from a teenager the money available to him because of his dead father. Do you want your son to go no contact? Because this is how you get a son that goes no contact. This is not a man worth marrying. This is not a man worth knowing. Better to be single than entangle yourself with somebody so disconnected from common sense and morality. Not the asshole. This is very low base behavior, like lower than a well-digger's heel. This man is knee-high to a grasshopper. He plays handball against the curb. So he wants to pay $950 and wants you to pay $1,500. Is his child going to kick in $550 a month also? Is your child going to be on the deed for his contributions to the mortgage? Not the asshole. If you do this, he'll find a way to get the other $500 some way. Yes, the roof will need to be redone and a new AC and a boiler. Where do we think he's going to want to take that money from? The kids' savings. 17-year-olds shouldn't be paying rent. Sounds like dude is trying to cash in on your son's benefits. The son is actually 15. Should not be paying rent. If she had been in fact using some of the survivor benefits to raise him, that would be one thing. Honestly, it would have been similar to child support. But since she as a single mother managed to not use it, then no way should a new husband be demanding that money be used for budgeting purposes. Especially since he isn't expecting his own child to contribute. It also sounded like the boyfriend wants to put the excess into their savings, not the son's. That makes the scenario even worse. Leave him. Off and on again says all I need to know. I can't believe he thinks taking money from a 17-year-old is the answer. How much are his kids contributing? Had a man told me this, I would have packed that night, left, and never looked back. Also, if OP, the boyfriend, and the son should pay a portion, what about the 3 kids from the boyfriend? If we're going by his logic and the kids should be putting into the fund, why are his kids not contributing? Especially one that will be with them full time. OP says, "This is the argument that I have, but he's saying that I'm wrong for this. I'm totally willing to cut off the relationship behind us. I just wanted your opinions so that I could show him that I'm not wrong." You are absolutely not wrong. He's just trying to get you to sacrifice your son's benefits for his benefit. I won't lie to you guys. I lost faith in this entire dynamic when she said, "Yeah, we've been on and off again for a few years, but, things are good now, and we're engaged, and we're going to get married, and we're going to be one happy family." I really stopped myself from going, hey guys, everything in our relationship is perfect, except for this one thing. Say the magic words, OP, say it again. I can't wait to hear your defense for this, man. Oh my god, it's just so funny seeing these come up all the time. It's like, so we've had like a pretty chill relationship so far, and my partner decided to die on the stupidest hill possible. Should I die with them, guys? Is it worth it? I don't know, OP. I feel like this is one of those common sense situations where I feel like the answer should be immediately obvious, that this guy is just having an absolute laugh. He's having the biggest go imaginable, and you're just not picking up on it for some reason. But anyway, he's an asshole. Break up with him. His kid gets to live with you guys full time but doesn't have to pay shit, but your 15-year-old, yeah, he's actually got to sacrifice all of his money so that the boyfriend can pay less on the house, and the son gets nothing out of it. What a stand-up individual that man is. Not the asshole, OP. And now, onto the update. Broke up with him, he threatened my family, and found out he's not paying child support. Oh, it gets better. Wowee. Following my original post, I ended the relationship with my ex over the weekend. The breakup escalated into a heated argument, with him repeatedly calling and threatening to go to my mother's and grandmother's house to cause a scene. I had to call his mother to calm him down. This was the final straw for me. In the argument, I also discovered that he is not paying child support for his minor child. Combined with his abusive and manipulative behavior, our engagement and plans to get a house together are off. For those who commented about the $500, my son is a very responsible young man whose college is already paid for. He has a car and a part-time job, and saves a significant portion of his spending money. The issue was never about the amount, but about my ex's manipulation regarding our finances to gain control. I am now focused on my and my family's safety. I have blocked all contact and am documenting all threats in case legal action is needed. Thank you for your support. I am choosing my well-being and finally feel a sense of relief and strength. In the comments, Chris Revere 2 says, "You dodged a bullet. I hope he leaves you alone now. Good for you." Exactly what I was thinking. The problem is, he probably won't. Congrats on separating yourself from that leech. All he could see was free money. Thank the deity you worship that his mask slipped before you shared any contracts. That's why I think that she shouldn't block him, in case she needs evidence to get a restraining order. Yup, he sees them as cash cows and wants control. With her keeping control, he's going to get really aggressive. Oh, no. He'll stop that shortly and then start crying and love-bombing. I mean, threats don't get people to come home entirely. Absolutely right. Well, I guess maybe for some people threats work on getting them back home entirely, but it's definitely not a winning strategy most of the time, from what we've seen. Doubt we'll be hearing back from OP for a while, so I'm going to mark that as a happily concluded update. Good on you, OP, for immediately taking the advice, for not letting him run you around in circles with his bullshit logic that he had there. And it seems like you're smart enough to just mute him and not block him so that you can use whatever he throws at you as evidence against him in a way to get a restraining order. That is very smart of you, OP. I like that. Hopefully he doesn't pull any more shit and you have to come back for another update. If the world was a fair and just place, that would be the case. Thank you for the story, and thank you for the update, OP. You are still not the arsehole. Our next post is by user Brown Alpha, and it's titled, "Am I overreacting for being frustrated that my girlfriend is acting like my wife just 3 months into dating?" So I got some of my boys' opinions already, but I'd really appreciate a woman's perspective on this, or someone who's not in their 20s. I'm 24 male, and my girlfriend, 26 female, and I have been officially dating for about 3 months. We hooked up at a mutual friend's party, and things progressed quickly to the point that she's been living with me for a few weeks now. I have my own place, she was over often, and it kind of naturally evolved. Here is the issue. I feel like she's suddenly trying to control big parts of my life. For example, she gets weird or passive-aggressive if I go out to parties or work events without her, even if I'm just networking or grabbing a drink with colleagues. My job recently offered me a 3-week work trip to Singapore. I said yes on the spot, as it was a great opportunity for my career, and when I told her, she got really upset. She said I didn't factor her into the decision and that I wasn't considering her feelings. She basically acted like I owed her a discussion before accepting it and got upset that I didn't. She implied I was being selfish and not treating the relationship seriously. To me, I'm just doing what's best for my career, which at 24, I feel is a big priority. I'm not disappearing forever. It's a short-term trip. I don't understand what the big deal is. We ended up arguing over it, and honestly, I left the conversation feel like I'm being punished for having ambition and independence. I care about her, but this feels like a lot, especially considering we're only 3 months in. She's treating this like we're married already, and I don't know if that's normal or a red flag. Am I overreacting, or is she being controlling here? In the comments, Acrobatic Lion says, "Woman the same age as her here? You are not overreacting. You've been together for a very short amount of time, and it's already very full on. This is a complete guess, but all of my friends and peers are either getting engaged or announcing that they're expecting or moving in together. I feel like now that we're getting closer to our later 20s, that progression is happening. If your girlfriend's peers and friends are doing similar, then maybe she's trying to mirror that and act as if she is there too, without actually considering where you're both at. At the end of the day, if you're not ready for something as full on as this is, then tell her. You are both young and in the early stages of your relationship. It should be fun right now, not stressful. Also, side note, my partner and I have been together for 7 years. If he told me he was offered to go to Singapore for 3 weeks with work and said yes on the spot, I'd be supportive. Would I be upset that we didn't talk about it first? Maybe, but I wouldn't tell him that he was selfish for accepting or making him feel bad for it. Hell, I'd be jealous I couldn't go." OnlyFons replies, "Let's not ignore the biggest issue. You allowing her to move in so soon. You moving her in immediately made your relationship 10 times more serious. Now you're playing house, and that's something that I personally don't do until around year 2 of a relationship. You may need to have a discussion with her about taking a step back and having her move out. Otherwise, you're in a very serious relationship, and as a 30s male, I can't even blame her for taking it as such. It's the moving in that messed OP up because that automatically made the relationship serious. I'm a woman in my 60s. You two have barely been together a minute. She's taking some big liberties. Tell her that you guys jumped the gun when you had her move in so soon. If you don't necessarily want to break up, I definitely try to walk back the living together. Tell her while you can appreciate that she feels left out of your decisions, they are yours to make, and if she can't handle that, she's welcome to leave. Because right now, your career/job is your priority, not your relationship. I would try real hard to not leave her in your house when you go to Singapore for 3 weeks. But do have a friend/family member you trust either stay there or go over daily to check everything out. Try to get them to stay there. Your question, OP, is are you overreacting for being frustrated that your girlfriend is now acting like your wife just 3 months into dating? No, I don't think you're overreacting. I think you guys, like the comment said, moved way too fast. This to me sounds like your first serious relationship and you have no idea what the normal relationship kind of goalposts to hit are, but moving in is definitely not a few weeks into dating kind of situation. You both are out of your goddamn minds for normalizing that, and shit like this is the consequence of it. You didn't let the relationship breathe, you didn't give her time to let the crazy out when she was outside your comfort zone, your safety place that is your house. You let her in, you gave her the keys to the kingdom, and she's let the crazy out, and now you're upset that you didn't do anything to prevent this. Let this be a warning to your future relationships as what not to do. You have given yourself a trial by fire, and for that, you have been burnt, you idiot. Let's be realistic, OP. This is a red flag that you can't ignore. this relationship is not going to last. And if it does last, if you find a way to walk it back and make it work with you guys, fair enough. But for me, if I was in your shoes, I'd cut this off and be like, you know what? We had a good run. We had a good thing going for us. But I will not allow this to continue any further. I'm going to Singapore, you're going home, and let's all just give ourselves a pat on the back and say we had a good run. And now, on to the update. Firstly, thank you everyone for giving me some advice on this one. Unfortunately, or fortunately, things went south really fast and I'm breaking up with her. Gee, who saw this coming, guys? I had the convo with her about 2 hours ago. Took some work calls and went to the gym and wrote this up for all of you who helped me. The conversation started off calm enough, but things escalated quickly. She understood the whole career thing and agreed I was upfront with her about saying that's my priority, and she told me she likes the speed at which we were taking things because she really loves me and sees a future for us together. I opened up completely and told her I wanted to slow things down and hit reset a little, to which she point blank said, "Are you breaking up with me?" I said, "No, I'm not. I just want us to really get to know each other. Like we haven't even been on a vacation together and think she moved too soon." She ends up starting to accuse me of wanting to slow things down so that she's not around and I can hook up with other people. She accused me of secretly meeting up with other girls in the last few weeks, and even at the party we met at, I was talking to other girls. I explained that the girls she was referring to were either old college friends I ran into, co-workers, or girlfriends of my buddies. Nothing weird or shady. But it didn't matter. She kept pushing, and I could tell something wasn't right. She ends up saying that I was in contact with Elizabeth, my ex-girlfriend from a few years ago, and I was like, huh? She confesses when I ask her that she went through my MacBook that has my iMessage, Instagram logged in, etc., because she just wanted to make sure I wasn't hiding anything. To be honest, that hit me like a ton of bricks. I had no idea that she had secretly been snooping around like that. The reason that she mentioned Elizabeth was because while going through my messages, she saw a text exchange where I'd wished Elizabeth a happy birthday with a heart and suggested that she could come visit me as it's been a while since we met. She accused me of secretly reconnecting with her and hiding this. I kept trying to explain, but it didn't help. She was convinced I was lying. I told her to take my phone and call the number to prove that it wasn't my ex, and sure enough, it was my aunt who lived in another state. Elizabeth is her name too. I told her that I haven't spoken to my ex in years. Even after hearing my aunt's voice, with whom I had a fake, "Hey, how's it going" convo, she still wasn't fully convinced and said that I was still hiding other things, if not this. The whole situation was just crazy. She'd been questioning my every move, checking up on me constantly, and it made me realize that this was less about care and more about control, like many of you were saying. I told her this was too much, and frankly, I had a work meeting coming up, so needed a few minutes to get back to work. She said sorry and that she won't do it again, to which I said I need space and can't think right now, so she needs to leave. She said she won't leave my condo without me giving her a kiss. So I gave her a quick kiss and she left, saying that she'll call me later, to which I said, "Don't. I will tell you when I'm ready to talk. If I do, get ready." I need my space, trust, and room to grow in a relationship, and that's not what this was at all. Thank you those who gave me advice and DM'd me on the side to talk and give me some more advice. Time to do some career maxing now and enjoy Singapore. In the comments, I suggest next time you date, think about how your actions come across to the other person. Like people said in your previous post, moving in together signals to her that you are very serious about the relationship. I'm not sure why you thought you could walk that back, to be honest. You just moved her in for easy access to sex and were then surprised that she started taking things seriously? Like, dude, be for real. You wanted the convenience of a girlfriend, but still wanted to act single. Not bothering to let her know that you're coming home late? Like, come on, dude. Easy to lay all the blame on her, but honestly, you set the pace for the relationship and she just matched your energy. Think about that in the future. So often, we see this exact description from the woman's perspective, where she's saying he seemed keen to begin with and then backed off. Good for her. Maybe in Singapore you can get over your ex and stop fucking up your relationships with the "it's too soon" card. Well, she clearly moved in so that she could keep watch over you. Break up with her now. This is not salvageable. I'm a little bit confused by this update, I won't lie, because he started off the update saying that he is breaking up with her, but then he goes on to have this conversation with her, and I'm feeling like there's an ambiguous energy to it all, as if they hadn't actually broken up. Because saying you'll tell her when you're ready to talk, if you do, get ready, that doesn't exactly mean, hey, I'm breaking up with you, get the hell out of my condo. But hey, it's something, that's for sure. There's some growth happening here, no matter how slow that growth is. I hope you do actually break up with her. I hope you do learn from this, and I hope you have a good time in Singapore. Don't repeat these same mistakes, you idiot. Do not move in with someone after a few weeks. Some of those people in the comments were right. You wanted the girlfriend experience without the girlfriend responsibilities, and she was kind of matching your energy. And that energy being the both of you being insane. Good luck out there, OP. I think you're gonna need it. Our next post has an update on paper, but doesn't have a conclusion just yet. So keep that in mind before you yell at me in the comments. Posted by user NoFoot, titled, "Would I be the asshole if I countersue for what I consider an accident for the cake this other woman's daughter wrecked after she ran into me?" In the middle of June, I had just picked up a custom chocolate cake from a bakery that cost $65. On my way back to the car, a woman and her 2 kids were coming out of a church across the street where a wedding was taking place. I crossed at a crosswalk about half a block from the church. I saw the mother telling her little girl, maybe 4 or 5 years old and dressed in a very nice white dress, to stop jumping around and to stay still. The girl didn't listen. She ran off, laughing and looking backwards instead of paying attention, and ran straight into me. I dropped the cake, and it hit the ground on impact. Chocolate went everywhere. On the pavement, on me, and all over the girl's dress. The mother came running, screaming at me. There were at least 2 people behind me and another woman on the church property who saw it happen. The mother kept yelling that I had ruined her daughter's dress, that I owed her money for a new one, and that I needed to give her cash so that she could buy a replacement before the ceremony. I told her that it was an accident. Her daughter ran into me, and I wasn't paying for it. She kept screaming profanity, loud enough that someone called the police. When officers arrived, she tried to claim that I threw the cake on her daughter and should pay for the dress. But another witness confirmed what really happened. The mother had told the girl to stop running, the girl ignored her, and she crashed into me, causing the cake to fall. The woman still wouldn't calm down until the police nearly arrested her, and then only did calm down after her relatives came out of the church to help. She demanded reimbursement and threatened to sue me. At the time, no one exchanged information, but somehow she found out my name and address. Later, I learned someone had filmed the whole thing and the video got back to me. Sure enough, she served me with papers. She's suing me for $3,000 for a new dress, assault, and emotional distress. Would I be the asshole if I countersued for the cost of the cake that her daughter ruined because of her poor parenting? Honestly, I'm not too worried about winning or losing since I have video evidence and multiple witnesses showing that it was an accident and that her child caused it. In the comments, Low Temperature says, "You would not be the arsehole. If you're having to show up in court and waste your time on this lady's stupidity, you might as well get something out of it. You'll be doing a public service to teach this lady a lesson about frivolous lawsuits. OP should sue for the cake, OP's outfit that the cake fell on, lawyer's fees, lost wages, and emotional distress. Add slander to that. She's lying about this poster's character. Falsely saying that OP threw a cake at a child is definitely reputational harm to OP, especially in a community small enough to find someone through social media. Sue for the cake, harassment, and emotional distress. She threatened and proceeded to track you down after almost being arrested, and that can be perceived as stalking. At the very least, it's harassment. A restraining order on top of the countersuit might be a nice touch. Not to mention the emotional devastation caused by the intended recipient of the cake, and how OP is you're the asshole for showing up without the cake and ruining the recipient's special day. Back up to the post, updating to clarify a few things, instead of keeping repeating it in the comments. The cake was in a box with a lid, but when it hit the ground, it opened and exploded. It was a soft cake with a lot of chocolate icing, so it got all over my pants and the bottom of the little girl's dress. It was enough that it was really noticeable. To clarify, I'm not mad at the girl. I'm just completely gobsmacked by how her mother handled the situation. She could have taken some accountability, apologized, or even made it a learning opportunity for her child. Something as simple as, "This is why I tell you to stop running and to listen, because now your dress is soiled for the wedding." But instead, she threw a fit, accused everyone else instead of her own poor parenting, and it escalated to the point where the police were called. After embarrassing herself and almost getting arrested, she still managed to act like the victim. She could have just let it go and moved on. For those wondering how she got my name and address, I don't live in a highly populated area. I'm on social media, and the video of the incident was sent to me by someone that I didn't even know. Someone that she knew must have recognized me. Once you have a name, finding an address isn't difficult. She even had a processor serve me. I haven't had any contact with her in any way since the incident. I'm also surprised by how many people believe that you need a lawyer to file in a small claims court. All I have to pay to countersue is $100. From what I've read, I technically can claim lost wages, but they won't be granted. Realistically, the most I'd get back is my filing fee and the cost of replacing the cake. Some people have also said that I should have been able to prevent the accident because I saw them before I crossed the street. That's true, I did see them, but the little girl was on the grass the entire time. At no point did she step onto the sidewalk until the moment of impact. I'm not psychotic, and there was no way that I could have predicted that she would suddenly run across the grass and straight into me. It all happened in literal seconds. Another update. Tomorrow, I'm going to file my counterclaim, as today is a holiday. I spent the better part of a few days researching, and I think I'm going to ask for $1.00 plus my filing fee, which I'm guessing they mean $1,000 or $100, who knows, and take a page out of celebrities who have been wrongly sued for stuff to prove a point. I don't want to look petty, but I sure want the judge to rip that woman a new one for bringing this frivolous suit to court. Thanks, everyone. And that's the latest update on the situation. It's been 3 weeks. They still haven't come back, so I'm going to assume that OP died. In which case, I'm sorry that you died, OP. And yes, I'm reusing a joke that I used a month or so ago. Sue me. Come on. OP got sued by a stupid idiot in this one. Come on, sue me for reusing a joke. I dare you. So as I said, I'm sorry you died, OP. But yeah, take her ass to court, counterclaim, take that video evidence in there, make sure that you and the judge rip her a new one, and you get compensation for this absolute child of a woman bringing that bullshit to court and wasting everyone's time. Any normal, reasonable person would have absolutely apologized to you, offered to pay for the cake, offered to pay to help you out, and properly punished their child for not listening to them and using this as a learning moment. Instead, she did the absolute opposite, and she taught her child that it's okay to do those things, because if you mess up, you just sue the person that you did the mess up to. I'm sure that that future relationship between her and her daughter is going to be healthy and wonderful, because these foundations that she's laying look spectacular and marvelous to me. So, thank you for the post and thank you for the update, OP. Good luck. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, click the link on the screen right now to watch my podcast with Jack. If you don't, I'm going to cry. See you in the next one. Bye.